Law 28. Enter action with boldness is about harnessing the power of audacity and making decisive moves that overwhelm, intimidate, and inspire others. Boldness is one of the most powerful weapons in the pursuit of power because it creates shockwaves that disrupt the expected course of events. By acting boldly, you catch people off guard, forcing them to react to you rather than taking initiative themselves. Boldness not only puts you in control, but also cultivates an aura of confidence and strength that is difficult for others to challenge. At its core, boldness is about decisiveness. In any situation where action is required, hesitation or indecision can signal weakness, allowing others to question your authority or doubt your capabilities. When you act with boldness, you project certainty. This certainty, even when it lacks substance or is risky, creates the illusion of power. People are naturally drawn to leaders who seem to know exactly what they are doing, even when the path is unclear. This is because boldness provides psychological comfort to those who are uncertain or afraid of taking risks. They will follow the person who moves with conviction, believing that confidence must come from knowledge or strength. When entering any action, particularly in high-stakes situations, boldness eliminates ambiguity. It prevents others from second-guessing you or attempting to undermine your position. In the battlefield of power dynamics, uncertainty is a vulnerability. If you show hesitation or doubt, others will sense it and exploit it. By entering boldly, you eliminate that vulnerability. Even if you are not entirely sure of the outcome, acting decisively forces others to scramble to catch up with you. In many cases, they will be so caught off guard that they will simply fall in line with your actions, believing you know something they don't. Boldness also works because it intimidates. In social, political, or business situations, people are often cautious, trying to calculate the safest or most beneficial move. When someone enters boldly, it disrupts these calculations, creating a psychological advantage. People become intimidated not only by the bold action itself, but by what it represents, a level of confidence and certainty that they may not possess. Bold actions often create the perception that you are willing to take risks that others would avoid, which can make you seem more powerful or dangerous than you actually are. In many cases, boldness can also generate momentum. Once you take the first bold step, it sets off a chain reaction. People respond to bold actions with respect or fear, and this in turn reinforces your position of strength. The more bold actions you take, the more your reputation grows as someone who is decisive, confident, and capable. This reputation becomes a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. Others begin to believe that you are always in control, that you always have a plan, and that following you is the safest course of action. This snowball effect makes it harder for your rivals or enemies to challenge you, as they become more and more unsure of how to deal with your audacity. However, boldness must be calculated. Acting boldly does not mean acting recklessly. While boldness involves risk, it is not blind risk. The successful practitioner of this law knows when to take bold action and when to hold back. Boldness works best when it is unexpected, when others are lulled into complacency or are acting cautiously themselves. By striking boldly at the right moment, you capitalize on their hesitation. But if boldness is overused or deployed at the wrong time, it can lead to disaster. Therefore, you must always weigh the risks and rewards before entering action with boldness. The key is to act when the potential gain is worth the risk, and when your boldness will have the greatest psychological impact. Boldness is also a strategy for overcoming fear, both in yourself and in others. Many people are paralyzed by fear when it comes to making significant moves, especially in competitive or dangerous situations. This fear leads to hesitation, which in turn leads to missed opportunities. Boldness allows you to break through that fear barrier. By committing fully to your actions, you push past the self-doubt and fear of failure that holds so many people back. This not only empowers you, but also sends a message to others that you are not easily swayed by fear. In this way, Boldness becomes both a personal weapon and a way to project strength outwardly. There is also an element of unpredictability in boldness. People tend to act based on assumptions about what others will do. When you act boldly, you defy those assumptions, creating confusion and forcing others to react rather than plan. This gives you the upper hand because the element of surprise is in your favor. By making bold moves, you break through the patterns of predictability that most people rely on, destabilizing them and leaving them unsure of how to proceed. This unpredictability keeps your rivals off balance and prevents them from countering your moves effectively. Additionally, boldness can serve as a powerful tool for self-expression and branding. In any field, whether it's business, politics, or personal relationships, those who make bold moves are remembered. Bold actions make a lasting impression, creating a distinct identity or reputation that others cannot ignore. When you consistently act boldly, you build an image of yourself as someone who is daring, innovative, and not afraid to challenge the status quo. This image alone can become a source of power, as people begin to associate your name with strength, fearlessness, and authority. In relationships, boldness can also shift the dynamic in your favor. Whether it's in romantic, professional, or social interactions, people often test boundaries or try to assert dominance. By entering boldly into any interaction, you establish yourself as the dominant party from the outset. This dominance can be subtle or overt, but the message is clear. You are not to be trifled with. Boldness in personal interactions creates an aura of control that others will respect or fear, making it easier for you to steer the relationship in the direction you want. One of the critical aspects of boldness is understanding that hesitation is often more dangerous than bold action. In many situations, the fear of making a mistake leads people to do nothing, which can be far more damaging than making a bold move. Inaction signals weakness, indecision, and a lack of leadership, while boldness, even if it involves risk, signals strength and a willingness to take charge. People will often forgive mistakes made through bold action, but they rarely forgive weakness or indecision. Lastly, boldness is a way to set yourself apart from the crowd. Most people move cautiously, trying to minimize risk and avoid standing out too much. By acting boldly, you immediately differentiate yourself as someone who is willing to go further than others. This separation from the norm can elevate you in the eyes of both allies and rivals, giving you a unique position of power. You become the person who is willing to take the big risks to achieve big rewards, while others remain stuck in the middle ground of caution and compromise. Law 28. Enter action with boldness teaches that the decisive move is often the most effective one. Boldness not only positions you as a figure of authority and strength, but also disrupts the plans of your competitors, puts people on the defensive, and generates momentum in your favor. Whether you are pursuing power in business, politics, or personal relationships, boldness is a psychological weapon that sets you apart and establishes you as a leader who is unafraid to take charge. It is through bold action that you gain control, inspire loyalty, and build a reputation that will carry you further than caution or timidity ever could.